I've been getting this question a lot. How are you repositioning your property so fast, or what is the hardest part about repositioning your property so fast? So I think this is a great question, and I just recently finished a really big repositioning of a property. It was 114 units. When I bought it, it was worth 7.1 million. On this new assessment, it was worth 13.4 million. So almost double the value, and I did it in about 14 months. So how did I do it, or what's the hardest part? Well, I spent $3.5 million on the property. And I think a lot of people would say the money that you spent on the property, that's got to be the hardest part. I mean, you got to come up with the money, you got to put it in the right places, you got to increase the overall income. Wrong. That is not the hardest part of repositioning a property. It is the communication and overall strategy with the people. You guys got to remember, this is not a property. This is not a business. This is where people live. And I think ultimately you can make more money by also doing a good job with the residents that actually live there. So let me take you through a few of the things that I do that I think are extremely hard or not focused on enough that help us transition this apartment so quickly. I mean, think about it. In 18 months to be able to get through and rehab 114 units, to be able to rehab the entire exterior of the building, it doesn't even look the same. We'll pop up a few pictures for you looking at this building and what it looked like before and what it looked like afterwards. And what I can tell you is that transitioning process for a lot of people almost makes it feel like 18 months or 12 months of hell for the residents, because it could feel like a construction zone if you only focus on the CapEx. So what we do is after inspection, we'll start putting together a plan for not just the amount of money that we're going to spend, but more importantly, what our communication is going to look like for the residents. And what we want to do is we want to plan that day one and that week one really, really tight with a lot of our team, a lot of our time, and a lot of our labor so that the residents see what's going on. Now, in this particular rehab, when you're going to double the value, it's typically not run well. And there's a few things not run well at this property. Number one, there was drug dealers and people doing drugs in about 25% of the apartments, which is obviously not great. Number two is there was no lighting almost anywhere. So it wasn't safe for the 25% of the people that were great that wanted to live there, which is a big problem. And then the last part is there's just a lot of deferred maintenance. When we took it over, we estimated about 100 service requests, 100 different things that were not taken care of over the last years. Something as small as garbage disposals, or as big as a bug problem that wasn't taken care of, holes in the ceiling, etc. Even water not working in some cases. So, day one, what we wanted to do is we definitely wanted to make sure that the property was safe for the residents that we did want to keep. When you go through an inspection, you should be able to understand who the residents are that you want to keep. The ones following the policies and procedures, the one paying the rent, the ones that aren't doing criminal activity within their unit, the one keeping their units neat and organized, versus the ones that might be living in unsanitary condition, drugs over on the table, their apartment in disrepair. So you can easily figure that out during inspection. And what we did on day one is a combination of a lot of different things. We call this an immediate impact day. We want to show the residents and make an impact right away, especially the ones that we want to keep. So we did, number one is we invited all the police. It's one of my favorite tactics. So we want to show the local police officers what our plan is. So we invite them on the property and we actually walk them through the property. A lot of these residents that are doing things that are not legal start to see police officers walking through. And we partner with them and we ask if they could do walkthroughs for the entire first week, 3 times a day. And a lot of times, police will be very happy to do that, especially if you're helping them take care of the problem in the first place. And that's exactly what happened. You might have already guessed, but a lot of the people doing criminal activities or dealing drugs just left, right? They didn't put in their 30-day notice, but we didn't want them to put in the 30-day notice. We just wanted them to leave, and that's exactly what a lot of them did. The other thing we did is we lit up the entire property. So we put brand new LED lights everywhere. And we power washed the building, especially the underground parking, which was really dim and really disgusting, and nobody wanted to park down there. So by painting it, power washing, and lighting it up, We killed two birds with one stone. We made it really, really safe and gave access to residents to park underground so that their vehicles were now safe from being outside or preventing from snow or rain. And we could charge for that. So we're able to increase the overall rent. We also took down the huge exterior within the first week. It had a lot of rusted metal, a sign falling over, and we repainted and rebranded everything. All in the first week. Think about this, right? We want people to know what we're doing and see what we're doing so that they know this is not just another property management company or a real estate investor coming in and just raising rents. No, we're putting money into this apartment and we're going to make it nice. And that brings me to the last thing we do within the first week. We craft a really well-written letter and we tell the residents exactly what we're going to do. We went over the plan to light the building up. We went over the plan to rebrand it with new paint and new exterior and new signing. We went over the plan to start rehabbing units. In fact, we showed them what a rehab unit would look like because we were able to get some done before closing. We gave them the option to be able to move in there at the new market rent to a rehab unit or go walk through what these new rehab units look like. And then we talked to them about how we're going to fix all the other deferred maintenance like common area, flooring and paint and lighting, a new numbering system. And most of all, within the first week and in our letter, we took care of all the service requests that haven't been done over the last year. So over 100 service requests was done within 7 days. We're building goodwill with the residents that we want to keep, and we're showing them that while we are going to charge you more, right, by increasing rent, we're going to give back a ton of value. In retrospect, if you look at it, we want to almost give more value than we're taking. After that letter goes out and after the immediate impact, usually within 30 or 60 days, we're going to send out a general rent increase across the board. And that is going to change two things. Obviously, we're going to increase the rent closer to market, but not at what the rehab units are going for. And then we're going to increase or add other income that should be a benefit for them, but also a benefit for us as well too. This will help you as you're starting to have vacancies that you're rehabbing or capital improvements that you're putting into the building. You also start to shift the overall income, which is huge. During this entire time, we're communicating over and over again what we're doing. So usually within 6 months, we've rehabbed a lot of the units where the people did not want to live there. We hopefully got out a lot of the criminal activity, the people not paying rent through either evictions or just honestly leaving the building with the increased amount of presence from both our property management company and local authorities like the police. Then, as we near 6 to 9 months, we have more and more of these units done. We'll start rehabbing the common areas, but again, communicate what we're doing. So meanwhile, we have our own employees getting to know the residents, getting to know the good ones, hopefully transferring some of the good ones from their non-rehab unit to the rehab unit. I mean, sometimes it's only an extra $200 more, and they're getting a rent increase anyway to move from where they were to a brand new one, and they're very happy to be able to do that, especially if they've seen it before. You're also surrounding them with other good residents, not bad residents, right? So the good residents start to feel the culture of the building start to change too. And during this whole time, you're still going to have setbacks. I don't want to, shoot this video for you and tell you that the hardest part is with the people and then tell you all the good things. There's a lot of bad things that happen, right? There is the criminals that don't want to move out, that you need to figure out how to catch them in the act and be able to evict and get out. There is the people that prefer to pay very little rent and live in unsafe conditions and don't want the police around, that hate us as a property management company. But those are not the people that you're focused on. So while those people will keep trying to tear you down, if you do a good job with the residents that you want to keep, eventually they'll have your back. And in this reposition, actually, and in a lot of ours, we hear a lot of positive stories too, and they almost try to help us. Right? Hey, I just want to let you know this guy's still smoking in the hall. Or hey, I just want to let you know, like this guy is doing this. You should take a look at that unit. Like the good residents that you're helping with because you've over communicated are now communicating back with you and helping you with this whole process. And I'll share a quick story. We were, almost done with the repositioning process, just got done fixing the elevator, brand new, spent a lot of money on it, looked really, really good. And we had a resident that would graffiti it. I mean, they would do everything from dick pics to fuck you to our management company right on this brand new elevator that everybody was complaining about that now works and looks beautiful. So what was really funny is the third time this happened, we were going in there to now, one step back, two forward, to repaint the wall that they graffitied where it said, screw you or whatever to our property management company. And sure enough, there is a picture, a huge piece of paper that somebody went to go buy, and it was taped up, and it was from one of the good residents. And it said, "Stop being immature. The management company is sticking money to make this place look beautiful." And then it might have said, "Go fuck yourself," or, something else like that. But, this is just a good example. Like, another resident saw that a different resident was graffitiing on the beautiful elevator. The good resident realized how much time and effort we're putting into making their home and their building look amazing. So wanted to respond to the bad resident, but didn't want to continue to graffiti the elevator. So literally went out and bought a piece of paper and taped it to the elevator to give a response to hopefully help that other resident stop doing what they're doing. And my point of this whole story is, if you only go and focus on spending $3.5 million on the property and increasing the NOI, you're forgetting a very, very big variable. And that's making sure that the residents are happy and the culture is changing. And the hardest time to make money and the hardest time to reposition a property is within the first 12 to 24 months. Because you have a lot of people that don't probably belong there, that have lived there not following the rules for a very long time. And you have a very few that were following the rules that really, really appreciate you. And I think we forget about those few, that 25% that you do want to keep. And so it's very, very important that you find those residents, you over communicate with them, you do give them a deal on rent and other income, and use them to help you accomplish your goal. Because it's not just you that's trying to accomplish your goal, it's the people that live there, right? You're all in that part together. And I think if you focus on the strategy with people and how you go about the rent increases and how you communicate to them and how quickly you spend money on the property, you can not only make a lot of money, but you can obviously make a lot of residents very, very happy, and they can help you with those steps backwards so you make more going forward.